Two people, same salary, same city, same bank account, almost empty. At the end of January, one of them arrives in December of the following year at the exact same place, stressed, indebted, with the feeling that money simply slips through your fingers before you know it, of him managing to hold on to it. The other one arrives in December with a reservation, built, a debt eliminated, and, for the first time in years, sleeping without that dull anguish in the chest. What separates these two is not income. It's not luck. It's not inheritance. It's a single habit. A habit that seems too small to make a difference. And that's exactly why almost nobody does it. You'll understand what that is. This habit will develop in the next few minutes. But first, you need to understand why it works, in a way that goes against everything you've been taught to believe about money. There is a misconception affecting most Brazilians who try to organize the finance. The illusion that the problem is a lack of knowledge, that it's enough. Learn how to calculate compound interest, understand what CDI is, or know the difference between stocks and real estate funds, and then everything will change. It won't work. Research on financial behavior repeatedly shows that many people who fail financially don't fail out of ignorance. They fail because inconsistency. They know the theory. They know they need to keep it. They know that credit cards have absurd interest rates. They know they're spending more than they should. They win, and they do it anyway. This happens because the relationship with money is not rational. It's emotional, impulsive, and deeply rooted in unconscious habits formed over time of years. And habits don't change with information. They change with structured repetition. That's where the only habit you'll hear about today comes in. And the good news is that it doesn't demand that you earn more, cut out all the pleasures of life, or become a finance expert. He asks only one thing, that you do it for 12 consecutive months without stopping. Here's the first thing most people get wrong when trying to change. Her financial life, she tries to change everything at once. She cuts expenses, sets up spreadsheet, research investments, try to pay off debts, start saving. In 2 weeks, abandon everything. The human brain was not built to sustain multiple changes, simultaneous behavioral patterns. Surveys in the field of psychology of behaviors show that the rate of abandonment of financial goals in Brazil is high. It surpasses 70% even in the first quarter of the year. It is not weakness. It's biology. The solution isn't having more willpower. It's having a system that's simple enough to survive your worst days. And the system begins here with Rule 1. Rule 1. The weekly meeting with yourself. Once a week, you sit for 20 minutes, just 20, and look where your money was gone that week. No trial, no punishment, just watch. Write down what came in, write down what went out, identify where you spent the most. She planned it. She closes her notebook or app and goes on with her life. This seems ridiculously simple, and it is, but what happens in the brain when doing this consistently over months is profound. You begin to create real financial awareness, not the awareness of someone who has read a book, but the awareness of someone who knows their own patterns, and that changes the way things are done. Decision-making in the heat of the moment. Meet Tatiana. She started this ritual a year ago, every Monday at 20 hours with a coffee on the side. In the first 2 months, the numbers, they were embarrassed. She preferred not to look. But she looked anyway. In the 4th month, he realized he was spending almost 300 reais a month on delivery apps. On stressful days, not days of hunger, days of stress. This insight alone is not enough. He made a change immediately, but he planted a seed. Rule 2. The name that changes everything. All the money you save needs to have a name. Not reserve, not savings. A real name, something that represents something concrete for you. Research in behavioral economics shows that people save more money and resist the temptation to use it more when money is mentally labeled for a specific purpose. This has a name. It's the effect of mental accounting. Emergency fund to avoid, depending on anyone, saves more money than reservation. Trip with my mother in 2026 holds more than just leisure. The name it creates positive emotional attachment, and emotional attachment is stronger than discipline. Now, compare Tatiana with Rodrigo. Rodrigo knows he needs to save money. He transfers a random amount to savings when there's any left over, which is almost always the case. There's never any left. Tatiana, after the 4th month of weekly meetings, created 3 digital envelopes with names. In 12 months, she had accumulated the equivalent, 4 months' salary. Rodrigo had 0. Same income, completely different destinations. Rule 3, the cut. You don't feel. There's one question that does more harm than good when it comes to cutting. Expenses. What can I eliminate? The right question is different. What can I reduce without feeling it? When you eliminate something you like, you create resistance. The brain goes into mode, of deprivation, and deprivation leads to compensation, usually a greater expense soon after. Next. But when you gradually reduce it below the perception threshold, despite being aware of this, the system does not trigger the alarm. Reducing meals eaten out by 10% is usually not noticeable. Renegotiating a cell phone plan, a streaming service, or a subscription you use, only a little. These adjustments added together change the final number for the month without changing the perceived quality of life. And here comes the part that few people consider. The money released by these invisible cuts should be automatically redirected on the same day. No. There's some left over to spend. It goes straight into the envelope with your name on it. Rule 4. The friction barrier. If you have easy access to your reservation, you will use your reservation. Not because it's weak, because the brain chooses the path of least resistance. Always. The fourth rule is to intentionally create friction between you and the money that is saving. This means putting that money in a different institution from your main bank. This means setting up the redemption so that it takes a while, or 2 business days. It means not having the app installed on your phone if possible. It may seem like an exaggeration, but consumer behavior surveys show that the mere presence of the bank's app on the phone's home screen significantly increases the frequency of accesses and impulsive transfers. An eye that doesn't see, an impulse that doesn't act. Tatiana moved her savings to a different bank in the 6th month. Never again. He used it to fix something that could have waited. Rule 5, the financial decision journal. Once a month, not weekly, once a month, you write 3 lines, just 3. A good financial decision you made that month, a decision that he regrets it, an intention for next month. This exercise may seem trivial, it's transformative. The psychology behind this involves what is called self-efficacy, the belief that you have in your own ability to act effectively. When you're documenting victories, even small ones, your brain begins to build an identity of person who manages their own money. And guiding identity. Behavior is a much more powerful tool than goals. Most people treat money as something that happens to them. The diary, starts treating it like something you control. Rule 6, the 12-month covenant. This is the simplest and the most difficult of all. You don't stop. It doesn't matter if you had a terrible month in August and spent all your savings. It doesn't matter if you forgot to have your weekly meeting 3 times in October. Weeks. You don't declare the process bankrupt. You pick up where you left off. The biggest mistake people make when trying to change their financial situation is treating a setback as defeat. A bad month in a 12-month project is not failure. It's data. It's information. It's part of the process. Research on habit formation shows that occasional interruptions do not. They hinder the consolidation of a behavior when the recovery is rapid. What's harmful is the narrative of, I ruined everything, it's too late now. Narrative is the real enemy. Tatiana had a difficult September. She used part of her savings for an unexpected expense. Doctor. She cried the following Monday when she opened the notebook. And then it started again. In December, even with the setback, she was in a position financially better than in any other December of his adult life. Rodrigo also had a difficult September, and he used September as an excuse to stop trying until next year. Do you remember the 2 people from the beginning? Same salary, same city, same match. The difference between them doesn't appear in January. It doesn't appear in March. It appears in December, but it was built on small Tuesdays, on Mondays, fairs with coffee in the months when nobody was looking, and they chose still have the weekly meeting. Financial transformation rarely feels like a turning point. It feels like boredom. It feels like a routine without any glamour. It feels like 20 minutes every week that could be used for anything else. That's exactly where almost no one can stand it, and that's exactly where everything changes. The question that remains is not whether you know what to do. You do. The question is, if you're going to keep doing it when the novelty wears off, because that's on day 90, on day 180, the day you're tired and the habit is still there, that one's financial destiny is beginning to be rewritten.